Okay, welcome everybody. My name is Brittany Hayes. For those of you that don't know me, if you're on this Zoom, I am your Triple Diamond leader. I've been in the business for right at 2 years. I just celebrated my 2-year anniversary last month, and I joined after watching my enroller, Claire Flores. She's all of you guys' Presidential Diamond Upline. She's the leader of Freedom Legacy. I joined after watching her for 11 months on social media. And I watched her just radically change her family's life. I had never even heard of It Works before. And I just couldn't help but notice she was just earning bonus after bonus. She retired her husband. They were just like living the life of their dreams. Can someone type in the chat how to connect to audio? So I'm not sure who that is, but that way they'll know how to connect. But anyways, I just was watching her, live the life of her dreams, and I just couldn't shake the feeling that it was the opportunity that God was putting in front of my family as well for the solution for us. And so I finally reached out to her and jumped in and never looked back, and the rest is history. And so in 7 months with this business, I was able to retire my husband. I have 5 kids, ages 9 and under, but at the time when I started, I had 4 that were 6 and under. And he was working 2 jobs at the time. And after 7 months in this business, he was able to come home. We've been a full-time family ever since. And then by 10 months into the business, we started earning a 6-figure income. And then by our 1-year anniversary, we were able to put our kids in private school, move to the beach. It just literally has changed everything for us. And so I tell you that to say, if you just started and you're brand new, like dream big with this company, because you have no idea what can happen for you and your family and what can change in a seemingly short amount of time with consistency and hard work. So I hope that you take all the tips you hear from tonight and just implement them and just jump in full speed, because I promise you give this business your all, you won't recognize your life a year from now. So I'm gonna go ahead and let Amanda and Jordan tell their stories too. Amanda, do you wanna go ahead? Oh, you're muted, hold on. I don't know which.
Hey everybody, my name is Amanda Stein. I am a diamond leader on Fire Tribe. I see some of y'all from my team on here already. I have been in the business for 19 months and I enrolled with Brittany. We went to Liberty together and I had watched her somewhat passively change her family's life for months, and then it got to the point where I couldn't ignore it anymore, and I was curious what she was doing. So I hopped in with her right after I had our first and only child, Daniel. He's 20 months old, and I went diamond 6 months in. Yeah, and I've never looked back, honestly. So that's me, and then my husband Louie, and we live in Dallas.
Awesome. Okay, Jordan, do you want to go ahead and share a little bit of your story?
Yeah. Hey guys, I'm Jordan Splinter. So I joined the business March of last year, so it's been about 16 months. I am a diamond leader in Fire Tribe, and yeah, I also went to Liberty with Brittany. We didn't really know each other very well there, and we reconnected, gosh, like a little over, maybe like a year and a half ago on Facebook. And I saw that she was doing this business. I saw how her life was changing, and she had these wraps that I'd been wanting to try for like years and could never find anybody that sold them. And I just had a baby, and then I really needed the wraps. So anyway, she told me about the business opportunity, and she had no idea that we were really needing some extra income. My husband was in the Army, and he had just gotten off of active duty, and we went from 2 full-time incomes to, well, he couldn't find a job for like 4 months. So that was really scary, because I was like 9 months pregnant, thinking like he's not going to have a job. I'm like, oh my gosh, we're going to be like on the street. And yeah, he got a job, but then we were like 1 income. Anyway, so Brittany shared the opportunity with me, and it has just completely changed our life. And it's crazy. It's still crazy to think about.
All right, so we're gonna jump right in and just tell you guys just exactly like what we did when we first got started, and what your first few days should look like, and then going on to your first several weeks in the business, and just how you just jump in full force. So we're gonna first talk about posting, and then we're gonna get into messaging, and then just to general like mindset and self-development. So what I want to share with you guys is hopefully by now, all of you guys have made your first post. I'm sure when you joined, you were hopefully tagged in a first post example in Fire Tribe by your enroller, and that's in the files. And so the first thing you want to do is you want to make sure you get your first post up promptly. You don't want to delay. I know it's easy in this business to feel like, oh, I don't know what I'm doing. I don't have everything figured out. But here's the thing. None of us, when we started, had any clue what we were doing, and none of us had anything figured out. But the best way that you learn in this type of business is just to put one foot in front of the other and just to start. Think about it when you get a new job. You know, the first thing they're going to do is they're going to start, you know, your onboarding or your training. And, you know, sure enough, by the end of that 2 weeks of training, you're going to feel like you kind of know what you're doing. But like, if you don't show up to work and do the training, you're going to have no clue what you're doing. So it's the exact same with this. Like, you're going to learn by posting. So your first step is to get that first post up. Once you get your first post up, we have a second post example in the files. And so these are the most straightforward things you're going to do. The second post example is there for you. Do that post. And then after that, this is when you're going to want to jump right into like your normal group of posting. So all of us on here, we all have a kind of a different way we post, but it's all very similar. Like, you'll find similarities in the way that I post, in the way Amanda posts, the way Jordan posts, and the way other leaders in the business, but we all kind of have our own unique style, if that makes sense. And so that's important for you up front to kind of just decide, like, what does my style look like? Like, what is my brand? Now, regardless of what your brand is, there's a few things that are going to stay the same no matter who you are. And that's, you want your pictures to be really crisp, really bright. You want to make sure that, you know, you're not taking anything grainy. So if you have an iPhone, I highly recommend downloading the app PicTap Go and then using the filters Crispity, Contrast, and Bright Side. And if someone wants to put that in the chat, so that way anyone, I know I talk kind of fast, that way anyone that didn't catch that can see. But I use that to filter all my pictures, and it just makes it really crisp, like a photographer's picture. It adds a little bit of contrast, and then it makes it bright. So it's nothing major, it just makes the picture look better, makes it catch people's eye more. And so if you don't have an iPhone, you can, and if you have an Android, you can download VSCO. That's a good app. And you can also kind of see what other Android users on the team use. I'm not super familiar with Android apps, but if you have an iPhone, definitely do PicTap Go. And so you want to make sure that you're, you know, any lifestyle post you're posting, make sure it's just something that just shares who you are. So for example, for me, I have 5 kids. So my non-It Works posts are pretty easy. They're going to have something to do with my mini kids, or like, we live at the beach. You know, I take a lot of pictures of palm trees, things like that. So you can do anything. It doesn't have to be anything complex. But the biggest thing is making sure that you're not just posting 24/7 It Works. You want to make sure you're also sharing about your life, because people who are following you and people who are your friends, they want to see you. And so the best thing that we can teach you from this Zoom tonight is to incorporate It Works into your life. So it's just seamlessly one thing. So what I personally like to do, and again, this is where it gets a little bit different depending on who you talk to, I aim for about 6 posts a day. I don't always hit that. Sometimes I fall a little short, but I try to get, my minimum is 3, my maximum is 6, and on a perfect day, I'll have 6. And so what that will look like for me is I do something inspirational in the morning. And this is going to be, Amanda will, you know, talk about self-development at the end. But when I do my self-development, I write down quotes that really stood out to me, and that makes easy morning posts. I just put out a quote. So it's my desire to be a light on everyone in my, like everyone that I'm showing up in their newsfeed. I want to be a light in their newsfeed. So I want to make sure that every morning when they're scrolling, they see something from me that makes them think, that makes them inspired, that makes them want to dream bigger, you know, live a little larger. Some people, their brand is to be super funny. Shannon is on here, and I always call her out on a Zoom. She's looking down like she doesn't know I'm talking about her. But Shannon's hilarious. Like, her morning posts, she always has something funny. And literally, I'm drinking my coffee every morning, scrolling through, and I laugh out loud at Shannon's posts. So, you know, if you're funny, go the funny route. But me, I'm kind of boring, so I just try to, you know, be inspired. But you can do whatever you want to do. But find something that makes it simple in the morning, that you're like, you already know the kind of style you're going for, and that makes that post easy. You don't even really have to think about it. And then I do a personal post, and again, that's just something non-It Works. When I go on my walks, I'll take a picture when I'm out, you know, something like that. And then I do a product post. This is where I do before and after, and I'll talk about this in just a second. And then I do another product or personal post. and then I do another product post. And then my final post of the evening is something presenting the business opportunity. So my Facebook is public. You can look at it and kind of see what I mean. But every night I share my story, and I share it in different ways. Sometimes it's shorter, sometimes it's longer. But this is how I attract people to the business. I just share my heart, and I just share my story, and I let them know what the business is doing for me. And I'll talk a little bit about what that should look like when you're brand new. But that post is essential to be getting up on a regular basis. And even if it's overwhelming for you in the beginning to get it up every night, at least strive to get it up, at least a couple times a week, because again, that's where people are going to see like what the business could do for them as well too. So that's what posting looks like for me every day. Posting is huge. If you're not posting, no one knows you're open for business. So it's like having a storefront and having that closed sign on the door all the time. You never make any money. So posting is essential for letting people know what you can offer them. Don't worry about spamming your friends list or anything like that. We're going to help you make sure that you're not coming across spammy to anyone. So if that's your fear, don't worry. We've all, been in the groove of posting for a long time. We know how to post without being spammy. So we're going to work with you guys all on that. Okay. So number one, for the product post, I want to talk about that, and we're going to talk about how not to be spammy and just get really good, clean product posts that draw people in and get their attention. So I like to just post before and afters most of the time, or sometimes I'll take a picture of something I have on hand. So if you ordered product with your kit, or obviously you're having the wraps in your kit, that's, easy things you can take a selfie with. I mix our keto coffee every morning. All of you guys that signed up during the $20 deal have keto coffee coming in your kit. So you've got some of that on the way. I'll make like a cup of keto coffee, and I'll take a pretty picture of that in the morning. Bam, product post number one. And I'll just do a quick little blurb about, fat burning coffee. And then usually in the afternoon, I'll share before and after, and we have these all in the team pages. So Freedom Legacy has lots of before and afters. Fire Tribe has before and afters. You can search Facebook, and you can search any public post that's ever been made. So I'll sometimes just go in the top of my Facebook bar. Let me see if I can show you guys. I don't know if it's going to be so like right up here, like your Facebook search bar, you can literally click there and type in fat burning coffee, and then boom, see every public post anyone's ever made will come up. And that's a great way to find before and afters. I still do that, guys, like every day or every other day. I'll just, when I'm sitting there nursing my baby, I'll just search and get some new pictures, some new material. So that's what we recommend for before and afters. And then I personally delete them all 24 to 36 hours later. I just kind of wait and see like what kind of, what am I trying to say? Like how much attention I'm getting from that one particular picture. If it's getting a lot of attention, I'll leave it up a little bit longer. If not, I'll just delete it right after 24 hours. But this ensures your feed isn't going to become spammy. You're going to leave it up long enough to get attention, and then you're going to delete it. And then that way, as you're growing your network and adding new friends, it's not like they're scrolling and just seeing like 30 before and afters from the past month. So I do this for Facebook and Instagram. I post my before and after. I try to make sure that it's, there's the first line is something that's going to draw people in. It's going to make them want to stop scrolling and read, because we all know sometimes we just get lost in the scroll. And I mean, a lot of people are like that. And so you don't want them to just scroll past your post. You want them to actually stop and read it. So the best way you're going to do that is have that opening line of your post that's just something catchy. So I'll just say like, oh my gosh, I'm freaking out right now over Miranda's results, or oh my gosh, I just found out. Just something that's going to make them be like, what is she talking about? And then in the body of the post, I just give a few quick blurbs about the product. You do not have to know everything about the products to be able to post about products. So don't think like because you're brand new, you don't know what to say. If you have not already been added, ask your enroller to add you to the Signing Loyal Customer and Distributor page. It's a great resource that we have for our team on Facebook. And it's basically a group, but it's not a group that you're going to have to do anything in other than look for post ideas. So comments are turned off. It's super clean. And we just have like all these different threads that have comments that all of us leaders have contributed post ideas to. So we have like one for cleanse, we have one for hair, skin, and nails, keto coffee. And as you're scrolling through the comments, you're just going to get all these ideas of good posts. And then you can take those posts and pair them with a before and after. So that makes it super easy when you're brand new and you're just getting started. So anyways, ask if you have not been added to that page, and that'll help you out a lot. But basically in the body of the post, just say something, a few quick blurbs. Like for me, it's usually just something like, if it's fat burning coffee, I'll say like, does your coffee help you burn fat? If not, we need to talk. Or I'm obsessed with this coffee. It fuels your focus, gives you clean, sustainable energy, and helps you burn fat. Sign me up. Just something like a couple quick facts. And then at the end, this is the most important part. You always want to do a call to action at the end of your post. So something that's going to make them feel compelled to message you, comment, reach out to you in some capacity. So I always just say something like, I'm giving 5 friends 40% off today. Drop an emoji or message me privately if you want info, or message me if you want to claim a spot, something like that. But this is huge. The 40% off, we're referring to the loyal customer discount, and Jordan will be talking more about that. But that having some type of call to action at the end is so crucial for them to actually feel compelled to message you and not just keep scrolling and being like, that sounds nice. You want them to read that and be like, 40% off, holy cow. So that's how I do my product posts. And if anyone has any questions about anything we're talking about on the Zoom tonight, please feel free to put them in the chat and one of us will answer them. So we don't want anyone to walk away from this Zoom still having questions. You're going to have questions as you go, but anything about what we're talking about, we want to elaborate for you. So please feel free to utilize that chat. And then for the business posts in the evening, I really wanted to talk about that because I know when you're brand new, it can just feel a little overwhelming and you're like, well, I haven't made any money yet. I'm brand new. Like, what do I possibly have to say that's going to make someone feel inspired to join me in the business? So when I got started, that was definitely like a fear of mine, or like, I guess you could say a hesitation. I just didn't know what to say. And I heard someone say on a Zoom that I was on brand new, and they said, talk about what It Works is doing for you. You don't have to be able to say what it's already done. Just talk about what it's doing for you. And I remember someone made the comment, like, people want to follow someone that knows where they're going. So if you know where you're going, it doesn't matter that you're not a 6-figure income earner yet. Like, they're going to want to come along with you because they know you're going to be. And so I just would tell my enroller story. I would tell Claire's story. I would say, for months and months, I watched a girl on social media radically change her family's life. And I always thought it was so amazing and so inspiring. I always wondered if I could do it too. And finally, after, being in one of the, toughest financial spots we've ever been in, I couldn't help but shake the feeling that God was telling me that was the solution for my family too. I reached out, never looked back, and now I'm on the same journey to changing my family's life. And then I would confidently put it out there, and it was a little scary, but I'll tell you what, there's nothing that holds you more accountable than going ahead and telling Facebook what you're going to do. I would say, like, this is the year that my family is going to, be financially secure. This is the year that my husband's going to be able to come home and we're going to be a full-time family. And you don't have to say that if that's not your goals. So don't take that away. But whatever your goals are, like, don't be afraid to confidently put them out there. Because guys, it was crazy. Like, once I started putting it out there and telling my story confidently like that, people started coming out of the woodworks like, hey, what are you doing? That's actually when Amanda reached out to me. When Amanda reached out, guys, I was not even an executive yet. I was a distributor. She had no idea what rank I was though, because I was just confidently putting it out there, and I was talking about how my check had doubled from last month. And she saw that and was like, what are you doing? What are you doing that your check doubled? What are you doing that you're able to work from home? And guys, I was a distributor. Like, I had not even had my first promotion. And, here I was, like, about to sign, like, my next rock star on my team, just because, like, I knew where I was going. I was speaking that out into existence. So I say that to say, like, you literally don't have to have already accomplished anything to attract people to you. You just have to confidently put it out there. So anyways, that's kind of the gist. I don't want to, like, just sit there and ramble on, like, word for word what my post looks like, but that's kind of the gist about how my nightly post would look. I would also approach it from different angles. Like, if we went to the grocery store, I would say, went to the grocery store tonight, and I was so thankful for the extra income from working off my smartphone this past month. Used to, like, grocery store trips were just so stressful on us. I was checking my account in the checkout line, and, working off my smartphone just this past month, I have a little bit extra in my budget now that I feel like I can breathe a little bit more at the grocery store, just something like that. And then again, people were seeing that and they're like, holy cow, I have to check my account in the checkout line. Like, what is she doing? I need something like that. So just get creative and just approach it from different angles, but really try to just share your heart and tell your story. I always say you can never go wrong with sharing your story and just sharing genuinely and vulnerably what's on your heart, because you might be worried about people being negative or something like that. But I promise you, for every negative person out there, there's 5 people that are hurting and are desperately praying for a solution. And they're going to see your post and they're going to be like, okay, is that what I've been praying for? So that's how I handled my business posts when I was early on. The other thing that I wanted to share with you guys, regarding social media is starting today. Hopefully you've already been doing this, but if you haven't, as soon as we get off this Zoom tonight, start tonight and just make this your goal to do this every night before bed or every morning, whatever. But open up your network and add to your network. So whenever I got started, guys, I had like less than 300 followers on Instagram. I didn't have a lot of close friends. I was literally just a lonely stay-at-home mom. I had 4 kids, 6 and under. So I didn't get out of the house. My husband was gone all the time. Like I literally thought to myself, who in the world's going to want to buy from me? Who's going to want to join my team? But at the end of the day, I knew if it worked for Claire and for so many other people, it would work for me. I just had to be teachable and do what I was supposed to do. And so everything she told me to do, I did. And that is, I firmly believe with all my heart, that's why I am where I am today, you guys. It's nothing special. It's only because I just took the advice given to me and I implemented it without a second thought. So one of the things that, I learned early on was you have to grow your network. You can't advertise to just the same 5 people all the time. So every day you want to add like 10 to 15 Facebook friends. You can do this by adding from groups that you're in. You can do this from adding like friends of your family members, like go to your like aunt's Facebook or your cousin's Facebook and add some of their friends. You can go to like a guy that you went to high school with. Guys statistically always have tons of girlfriends. So if you go to a guy, like a popular guy from your high school, go to his Facebook and you can add any of his girlfriends that you have like 5 or more mutual friends with. And it'll shock you guys. Like I've added some of my like best people from guys that I went to high school with. And I would go to their friends list. They'd have like 3,000 friends. And I had 5 or more mutual friends with like over 1,000 of their girlfriends. So every day I just go to their Facebook and just add like 15 more. And so many of them are customers today or on the team today watching right now on the Zoom. So again, you just have no idea who you can reach. Just grow your network and trust the process. So that's how I grow on Facebook. And then on Instagram, I just add like 100 to 200 every day. And I'll just literally like, I'm going to see if I can pull it up so I can kind of show you guys an example. But I will just like on my Instagram newsfeed, I'll just like go to a post and then I'll click the likers. And once the likers come up, I'll just go through and I'll just click follow. And I'll just do that on like a couple of my friends' posts. And I'll just follow the people that liked that post. You want to follow likers of recent posts because that's active Instagram users. You don't want to go to someone's followers because for all you know, that's followers they've had for 10 years and they're not even, I don't even know if Instagram's been around 10 years. You guys know what I mean though. But for all you know, like they're not even active. So follow like likers of regular posts. Never follow from a distributor's post. So if you're friends with some distributors on Instagram, don't add their friends or followers. That's not ethical. And then on Facebook, don't add distributors' friends. But just normal people on Instagram who aren't in the company, that's totally fine to go, follow their followers. I recommend your Instagram being private because more people will follow you back because they have to request you. So since you followed them or requested them, they can't see you if you're private. And so they're like, oh, who's this girl that followed me? And they'll request you back. So that's just personally what I like to do. It's not bad to be public, but I just have found that I get more followers being private. That's the gist of what I wanted to share about social media. I'll share a few other things towards the end, but I'm going to go ahead and pass it off to Jordan and let her talk to you guys about messaging and conversations. So, I talked to you guys about getting your first post up and then starting posting from that point forward. She's going to take it over from like what you do when people comment, what you do when people message you or whatever.
Okay. So going from when you do your first post or if you've done your first few posts, when you have people comment on there and they're interested in what you're doing, they're going to be like, oh, what is this company? What are you selling? Can I try this product or whatever? You're going to want to comment on that post and say, yes, messaging you or some version of that. Sometimes I'll say, yeah, I just sent you a message. And you're going to want to take that conversation privately. And the reason that we encourage that is because if you're answering all the questions on your thread right there where everybody can see, then you might have 10 other people that you would have had conversations with that just got their question answered and they don't need to message you now. You just answered it for them. But if you're keeping everything private, you might have those other 10 people also commenting saying, hey, can you send me some information? And those are 10 new potentials that you're in active conversation with. So always take it over to private message and answer all those questions there. And let's see. So when you get there, say you just did your first post, you're announcing to everybody, hey, I just started my business. I'm so excited. What I send to people or what I show my team to do and what I did when I got started was I messaged them and just said basically, hey, thank you so much for your support on my post. I really appreciate it so much. It would mean so much to me for you to be a product tester or something like that. And then I'll go ahead and say, take a look at this list of goals and pick out the ones that stand out to you. So that gets the conversation going. And then you can get the list, like tripping over my words. You can get that list of goals in the files of FireTribe. If you guys want to go take a look there after this, and keep those saved in your phone. Anything like the goals, responses to goals, the loyal customer wording, anything like that, go ahead and save those in your phone, and you're going to save yourself so much trouble by having to go look for those things every single time. And for anybody who, actually you can do it on both Android and iPhone, text replacement is life, guys, life. And if anybody has questions about how to do that, you can ask in the chat and I'll message you guys. But basically you can put, say you want to have like the checkout response that you send to people, and you link that to one word, and when you type that one word in, it sends the whole blurb at one time. So easy, so that you're not typing every single time. And yeah, so you're going to respond to those goals. You're going to get the conversation going. And then from there, you're going to send them how to be a loyal customer. That's just going to explain to them how there's 2 different options to buy a product. They can buy it for retail price, which is full price, and that's a one-time purchase, or they can become a loyal customer, and we use different terms for that. We'll say loyal customer, we'll say product model or product tester. Sometimes for hair, skin, and nails, we'll say hair models, things like that. Just finding different ways to market the loyal customer program, and send that over to them, explain what the loyal customer program is, how they're going to get so many perks, they're going to get our discount, they're going to get their own product shopping spree, all of those things. I can put my wording in the chat if anybody wants it. And I get my wording from Brittany, and I'm pretty sure Amanda does too. Those are also in the files of FireTribe. And let's see. Okay, so beyond like your first post, another really good message to send out is to your warm market. And what that means, your warm market is people that you know like in real life. So think back to like people that you knew in middle school, high school, college, your church, your kids' soccer team, like the mom's there, anything like that, people that you know like in real life. There is a really good message in the files in FireTribe to send out to those people. And that's really, really good to tap into that warm market, because especially in those first few days after you do your first post, your second post, and then you're wondering kind of where to go from there besides posting, this is something to be able to send out. And I just went down my friends list from like A to Z, and it took me, I mean, it took a while, you know, but I just went through like as many A's as I could in one day, message with those people, and then do the B's and C's and down like that. And that was really helpful for me when I got started. That's where a lot of my customers came from in the very beginning. And one thing I heard somebody say very early on that's always stuck with me is posting isn't asking. So we can post about things all day, but only about 14% of your friends on Facebook even see your post, just because of Facebook algorithm and all that. So don't think that just because you posted it that all of your friends saw it, all of your church saw it, all of everybody saw it, like probably like 5 people, maybe more than that. But so posting is not always asking. So sending those warm market messages, asking people, things like that, I think you'll get really good response from that. And do you want me to talk about follow-ups, Brittany, or not yet?
Yeah, definitely go ahead and hit on that.
Okay. So let's see how to go back into that. For follow-ups, so we do something called Follow-Up Friday, and that's where we check in with people, with anybody that we've had active conversations going on with. We check up with them on Fridays, and we just keep it really short and sweet. You don't want to send like a really long, drawn-out message. That was really hard for me at first. If anybody's done their color personality test yet, I was very much a yellow when I first got started, which means that I'm a people pleaser. I don't want to be pushy. I'm quiet, I'm shy, and I don't want to hurt anybody's feelings. So I would send like these long messages, and Brittany's like, okay, we got to shorten it down a little bit. Keep it short and sweet. So just following up and saying, hey, are you ready to get that hair, skin, and nails order in? Guys, you have no idea how hard that was for me. So hard. Like, that is not my personality whatsoever. I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm being so pushy. No, people appreciate that. People don't always want to have a long drawn out message. They just want you to remind them. So make sure that you are sending those follow-ups. The fortune is in the follow-up for sure. There was I think it was at conference or maybe Green Carpet, they talked about the percentages of people who sign. I think it was like 2% of people you talk to are going to sign the very first time you talk to them. The second and third time is like 4%. I don't know, it was like the 8th to 12th time of following up with somebody was like in the 100 percentile sign up rate or sign rate, like sealing the deal with them. So seriously, guys, fortune is definitely in the follow-up. And just one last tip for when you're messaging people, try not to answer anything that wasn't asked, because sometimes, especially at first, when we are, getting to know the products and just getting to, learn how to message people, we want to send them everything all at once. And sometimes it's easy to just like word vomit all over people. Somebody might ask, hey, how much is the coffee? And if I send them like, oh my gosh, the coffee does this, 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 and this, it has this, this, and this, and this, and this, and this, and this. They're going to be like, oh my gosh. And a confused mind always says no. They're going to be like, never mind. I don't want to know that. So just keeping it short and sweet and answer questions as they come. Don't answer anything that wasn't asked yet. So I think that was my last tip.
Awesome. I love it. Yeah. And one thing before we move on to mindset, I wanted to hit on to just kind of like we've given you guys a lot of the do's, and then Jordan just gave you a couple don'ts. When it came to posting, I wanted to give you guys a couple don'ts real quick. Stay away from anything that's like black, green, and bling looking, anything that's got too much writing on it. Those kinds of things, again, are like what looks spammy. So you really want to go after the before and afters that just look really clean. I'm going to give you guys like 2 examples real quick on my phone, just because I feel like this is something everyone a lot of times gets kind of confused on. So like this is a clean before and after. That's hair, skin, and nails. It's just the before, the after. It says 1 month hair, skin, and nails. They don't even know what company it is when they see that, which is good. I literally signed people for hair, skin, and nails that had no idea it was even AirWorks until after they got their confirmation email. You want it to be a little bit of mystery, because mystery is good. That means they have to reach out to you and ask you questions. If they feel like they already know everything, that's not good. You want to be able to help them, make an educated decision. This is an example of a don't. Like, refrain from posting stuff like this, because this is just spammy. That's not pretty. When people are scrolling and they see that, that just doesn't, to the mind, it looks like an ad. It is kind of an ad. And studies have shown that people just scroll right past ads. They don't even look at ads. Think about it when you're watching your favorite TV show and the commercials come on. Do you really stop and look at the commercials that long? No, that's when you like mute the TV, or you just start talking to your husband and you don't pay any attention. It's the same thing with Facebook. Like, we scroll past those sponsored posts all the time. If you do an ad, something looks like an ad, people are just going to scroll right past it. But if it's a good, clean, eye-catching picture, they're going to be like, whoa, what was that? And they're going to feel compelled to like read the post, find out more. So just when in doubt, just make sure you just pick the cleanest picture that you can post, that you can find when you're doing before and afters. I also am a huge, huge fan of like when I'm finding keto coffee pictures and stuff. I love the pictures that show, I'm probably not going to be able to find a good example right now because I'm thinking about it. But the pictures that, here's one. Okay, that really shows someone's like before and after, like in a really like dramatic state. Like, she has clothes on. It's not just like a belly picture, but it like shows what she looked like in normal clothes before, and then it's showing after. I feel like those are really, really powerful, because people envision themselves. They're like, hey, that's what I look like in my, favorite sundress, and then they see that after picture and they're like, I would like to look like that, So I feel like sometimes like belly pictures can be effective, but sometimes it's nice to just give people that full body shot like that, because that's where people really feel like they can relate to something. So just stay away from stuff that looks like an ad, stay away from black, green, and bling. And then just stay away from, like Jordan said, in messaging, same thing with posting, like in product posts, try not to just put just a ton of writing. Just, that's fine for your story posts, sharing your story, sharing your heart, but for product posts, short and sweet. And then on that note, I'm going to go ahead and pass it over to Amanda, and she's going to talk to you guys about just mindset and self-development and everything in between.
Okay, there. All right, sorry. I kept trying to click it and it like wasn't unmuting. Okay, so you guys will see that I'm very green because I have my notes. So excuse me when I look down. I want to make sure that I cover all of this because I think that it's really important. I think that mindset is something that's like all of the tips that are given tonight are super important, but none of them mean anything if you don't have the right mindset. You can have the best skills in the entire company, and if your head is not right, then you're not going to be able to be successful. And I think like the most important thing in this business, or really in any type of industry, is the foundation that you're building your business on. And what we do is a business. So a lot of people think of it like a side thing, or I don't even know, like, you know, so, like hobby or something like that. But this is your business. So like start thinking of it like that, and like start with that type of foundation. And then the other thing about, sorry, my child is banging on the door because he hears me talking now. So the way to start a strong foundation is through self-development. I'm sure everybody's always heard the saying, you can't pour from an empty cup. And it's so true. Like Brittany told me something this week that I thought was really interesting. So she started doing this where she, sorry, I'm trying to find myself because I'm getting all distracted. Okay. So she started where she, does her self-development before she even talks to anybody. So when she wakes up, she's going to have every single morning 9+ on Facebook. She's going to have tons of messages. She's going to have all kinds of stuff. But she has made a personal policy with herself now that she is not going to reply to any of that until she's already, you know, listened to her sermon or done whatever self-development she's going to do, done her devotional, you know, and gotten her head right for the day, because the foundation that you're building your business on starts every single day. And I'm going to talk about that a little bit later. But I really want to stress to you guys the importance of that. And it's not something like, I know like before I started this business, I would always hear people say, oh, I don't have time to read. And I thought they were talking about like recreational reading or, you know, like fiction, but you hear people say it about self-development too. Like they'll order this book, or like now that I'm a mom, I'll talk to people about parenting books, and then they'll say, oh yeah, I ordered that, but I don't have time to read it. Okay, well, make time to read it. And I'm not talking about parenting, but like when you're doing your devotional, or when you're, you know, doing your self-development for the day, like that's something that you need to fit into your day before you fill up the rest of the day. There's that analogy where there's a big old bucket and then different kinds of balls. And if you put the biggest ball in the bottom first, all of them will fit. It's like that. It's like you have to decide what are your priorities and what is important, what's necessary, and stick to it. Because if you don't decide that ahead of time, there'll never be extra time. Like how many of us have, you know, sit around the house for hours eating bonbons, just thinking how bored we are? Nobody. Even before you have kids, like there's stuff that fills up your time. Like you have to set aside time and decide what you want. And just, you know, the whole point of this is for the self-development, but you really can't pour from an empty cup. So once you start, you know, becoming a leader and having different team members that you need to support, you'll feel the strain of that. If you haven't been doing your self-development, and if you haven't been, you know, growing your mind and growing your spirit and like pouring into yourself every single day and making sure that your cup is full, you have nothing left to give. So I really urge you guys to really think about that whenever you're waking up in the morning, and just getting your heart in the right place before you continue with your day. And something else that I want to say about that is about focus. Like in mindset, you can have a positive mindset and, you know, you can have your cup full, but you really need to be focused, which it requires intentionality, because in order to be focused, you have to have something that you're focusing on. So whatever it was that brought you to this business, or whatever it is that you're looking to get out of this business, you need to like materialize that. Like, you know, really think about like, what are your goals? Like, why did you start this business? And like, I challenge you to dream bigger. Whenever I was at a Diamonds meeting with Cammie, she had to sit across from somebody and ask them over and over and over and over and over again for like 5 minutes, what do you want? What do you want? What do you want? And you just have to keep coming up with stuff that you want. And it's not about being materialistic or, you know, a consumer or whatever, but it's about like, what are your goals? What do you actually want? Because I feel like so many of us have such a small mindset that we're afraid to dream bigger, because we just want to be content where we are. And it's out of fear, but like, I urge you to dream bigger. And one thing with this, like, is really important. This is my folder. I just got a new one last night at Target. But in the back of it is my dream board. And it's something that I sat down and thought, if I could have every single thing I wanted right now, and money wasn't an option, and there were no barriers to it whatsoever, what do I want? And that's what you need to be focused on. And that's what needs to be your driving force. Because if you don't know what you're working towards, it's easy to quit. But if you know, like, there's a house in my dream board and we don't have a house yet, if you know that you're working towards something, it's harder to quit because you know what you're looking for. Another thing I want to talk about is the phrase, I hope. With this $20 sign up, they lowered the price so much that it's such a blessing for so many people. And so many of us are able to, you know, sign up, and so many of y'all were able to finally start your business that have been wanting to for a really long time. And that's really awesome. But I think that one of the things that I heard most this week was, yeah, I really hope it works for me, or I really hope that I can do it. Sorry, I get pretty passionate about this. I just want you to remove the words I hope from your vocabulary. Like, I don't ever want to hear somebody on my team say I hope. There is no I hope. You're in charge of what you're doing. You're in charge of your day. You're in charge of your actions and your decisions. And like, there's no hoping. Like, you're going to bust it and you're going to do it. Like, that's just what's going to happen. Because you know what? If you don't have that thought in your head, if you haven't already decided that, it's never going to happen. And I have a personal example from this. Like, I have personally been enrolled in 3 different grad programs. So I graduated from Liberty, and then I moved to South Africa with my husband. And I enrolled in 3 different, not at the same time, only one at a time, but I was in 3 different grad schools. And I only got a degree from one of them. And I can honestly tell you, every time that I did the other ones, it was something where I wasn't sure, first of all, if I was able to do it. And I remember thinking, I really hope this goes well. I'm really going to try my best. And that sounds like a good attitude, but it's really not, because I was dooming myself to failure. And after doing that 2 times and enrolling in 2 different master's programs, by the time that I enrolled in my 3rd grad school program, I was like, listen, this is happening. I don't care what happens. I don't care if I don't sleep. I don't care if I don't eat. I don't care what happens. I don't care if I live at the library. Like, I am doing this time. Like, I don't care how long it takes me. Like, I can, and I am going to, and I did. And you know what? Like, that's the first time. And I think that that was probably, looking back now, that was probably the hardest out of all of the 3 programs. But I quit the 2 that were easier. And it was just because my head wasn't in the right place. And honestly, like, I didn't have much on the line at the time, so I hadn't really thought about, like, what are my goals and what are my dreams. So it was easy to let that go and say, you know what, there'll be something else, or it just didn't work out. I tried, but it just really wasn't for me. It wasn't a good fit. There's all kinds of excuses that you can tell yourself, but at the end of the day, if you decide you're going to do something, you're the only one that's in charge of that. I mean, I do believe, like, God gives us blessing and God gives us free will for a reason, but you have to decide that you're going to do it and just stick to it. And the other thing that I want to say is, like, okay, so I don't think anybody talked about it. There's a 6 list in all of the teams. They'll talk about the 6 list. And Brittany talked about how she makes 6 posts a day, which is not really the same thing. But so it would be like expanding your network, making your posts, following up, self-development. I can't remember. Some of them are different. So people's 6 lists are different. But I really think one of the most important things, if you guys get anything from what I'm saying tonight, is you need to write that down. You need to get yourself a little notebook like this, and you need to have a couple things in here. You need to have a list of your potentials. You need to have your chart. You need to have a dream board, which mine is a piece of paper, so it fits in here. But if you want to do a poster in your artsy, that's cool too. And then you need to have your 6 list, and you need to look at it every single day, and you need to just make it happen. And I remember, I think it was the month before I went diamond, telling Brittany, like, and I was having a really hard time, guys. Like, I'm not saying that life doesn't happen, because I think that that's something that a lot of my team members, they'll come to me with excuses, and they're valid things. And I am not trying to diminish, you know, challenges that y'all have going on in your life. I'm really not. What I'm trying to do is I'm trying to help you reach your goal. So sometimes it can sound a little bit harsh, but the thing about it is you can't write your paycheck with an excuse. Like, your paycheck doesn't care about your excuse. Your paycheck doesn't care about what happened in your life. You can have losses, you can have health problems, you can have family drama, you can have, I mean, crazy things happen, you know, and I am not trying to diminish that. But at the end of the day, black and white, are you going to do what you said you were going to do? Are you going to do what you decided that you're going to do? And I can remember after having this conversation with Brittany and saying, Brittany, my head is all over the place. I feel like I can't do it anymore. And I mean, I wasn't going to quit. I actually called her and said, by the way, this is going to sound really negative, but this is how I feel right now. And I know that I need to get over it. So help me figure this out. So it wasn't like I was like, oh, I'm going to quit. But I just said, I need something tangible that I can make myself stick to. And she gave me a list of 6 different things. And you know what? I did them every single day. And I remember she said that if I don't have it done, if I haven't grown my network and you're laying in bed and you're just thinking over that 6 list and you've got it right here beside my bed, you need to do it. So I'm laying in bed and I'm adding to my network. I'm like, Louie, I got to add 15 more people or else I can't go to bed. Like I got to do it. So it's kind of just one of those things where you just do it or you don't. Like, there's no excuses. You either do it or you don't. And there is also grace with that. Like, I know, like, and I'm not going to say I did say I did it every single day. I faltered, you know, I'm human. I make mistakes, but you have to be able to move on from that and accept the fact that every single day is a new day, and don't let yourself get beat up about what you didn't do previously and feel like you're in a pit. Just wake up, do your self-development, get your head right, and start again, and just decide, you know what, I am going to do it today, and just do it. Sorry. Okay. So I want to talk a little bit about like the decision that you guys made. So first of all, a lot of us on this team are Christians, and regardless of your faith, something made you join this team. Not just this company, but this team in particular. And I really do not believe in coincidences. I believe that God has a will and a plan for every single one of us. And I believe that if you're on this Zoom or if you're on this team, then it is God's will for you to be on this specific team with this specific group of women. And we're really thankful that you're here. But something brought you to this team, like something in particular that you saw on your enrollers page or something that you want out of life. And that is what we call a why. And that's kind of, you know, what's going to go on your dream board. Like, why did you join? Did you join so that you have enough money for private school for your kids? Did you join because you want to be able to fill up your tank with gas? Did you join because someone just turned off your phone and you don't have, you know, you don't have a phone anymore? Why did you join? And you need to like remember that and just focus on that when the days get hard, because the thing about it is, and I can talk about the excuses, but here's where I'm going with that. That is the bad stuff in your life that you don't want. And your dream chart, your dream board is the good stuff that we're trying to focus on. So I'm not trying to diminish or act like it's not a big deal with the bad stuff. But this is what's pulling you down. This is the weight that's bringing you down. And we are called higher. So that's why every single day, regardless of what's going on, we have to remember what brought us here. What is our why? What is our dream? And just do it. Because if you don't work towards that, you're never going to get out of here. You're always going to be stuck over here. And there's nothing more painful than being stuck somewhere that you don't belong. Like, it's not going to be easy to get over here to the top where you're trying to get. And it's not going to be, you know, it's not going to be pretty sometimes. Sometimes it's hard. Sometimes it looks like me up at 3 o'clock in the morning getting my posts ready for the next day or messaging people back. But the reason that we do it is why we join and what it is that we're looking for. It's because we don't want to be where we are right now. So almost like what I like to think in my own personal life is the worse that my day is and the crazier that stuff is going on, I try to use that as motivation to get to work. Because I mean, like, you can let it get in the way and you can let it drag you down, and it will, but like, do you want to focus on that? Do you want that in your life? Because you don't have to. Like, you are the orchestrator of your life, and you get to decide where your brain is going that day. Like, you get to decide what you're going to think about, what you're going to focus on, and how you're going to spend your time. So that's why I say, like, just think about that. Not a smooth transition, but I'm going to go on to my next point. I want to talk about one thing. So a lot of people, whenever they sign up, they have the main objection is, I don't know if I can do it. I don't know if I'll be any good. And that's fair. That was what I said too. But one thing that I will tell you is, and I tell everyone this signs up, I can tell you that I've been in long enough that I can promise you on this particular team that we are on, because we are on one of the best teams in the entire company with some of the best leaders in the entire company. If you have a smartphone and the desire to learn, you will be successful if you don't quit. If you have a smartphone and a desire to learn, like, that is all you need. You don't need any special skills. Nobody on this team is any better at something than somebody else. It's just the more that you train your mind and the more that you practice your art, like the more that you practice your skill. There's no special formula to it. It's just on this team. So I want to just like reassure you, and I want everybody to hear me. Like, if you are listening to this Zoom and you are wondering or you're doubting, you know, if this business can work for you, and if you can have all the things that we're talking about, if you can bring in a full-time income, if you can retire your husband, if you can buy your dream house, if you have a smartphone and you have the desire to learn and a teachable attitude, I promise you right now, you can be successful in this business. And the most important thing in determining that success is your personal decision not to quit. That is it. That's all it comes down to, because there is going to be roadblocks. Sometimes things take longer than you think. I went diamond I went diamond last year in the end of June. And I remember thinking I was going to go double the next month. And you know what? If I wouldn't have thought that, there's no way I would have gone double the next month. And I didn't, and I'm still not. But I am positive that it is going to happen, and I am not quitting until it does. Or actually, I'm not quitting then either, but I'm just saying, like, I am positive it's going to happen, and like, I'm going to watch it happen. So, I mean, you just can't quit, because if you know what you have your hands on this team with leaders like Brittany and Claire and Alyssa, and all the way up, if you want to go all the way up, Tiffany, her, and Joel and Stephanie done #1 in the entire company, and Brittany's in the top 150, Claire is number 60, Alyssa's number 14. I say that with correction possibly, but like, that's out of over 400,000 distributors. Like, these are our leaders, and like, they have flat out told us exactly what they did to get successful and like to get to where they are today. So I am just claiming it for you. If you are willing to work and you are willing to learn, you can do this and you can be successful at it. Sorry. Oh, and what Brittany said about confidence really is so true, because I remember reading her post about her paycheck doubling, and I just remember thinking, that's so crazy. How can that happen? But if you trust your leaders and you trust God's will for your life, and that you are intended to be on this team, I encourage you to have that confidence, and I encourage you to pray for that confidence, and just seek out self-development that's going to instill that in your heart, because that is what people are attracted to. People want to follow someone who knows where they're going, and if that's just really important to know where you're going. So a lot of people say, well, I don't know what to post about because I haven't really, had much success yet. You have had success. You successfully signed up with the best team in the entire company. And if you are confident and, if you continue, like you will be successful. So you absolutely have success. You've got your hands on a gold mine, basically. Sorry, guys, green. I'm crossing it off as we go. Okay, so I want to talk a little bit about self-discipline. One of the things that I want to talk about, this is something that I did in March that changed everything for me. I always had my chart printed out. First of all, that's what I'm going to say right now. Every single person on this entire Zoom, regardless of what you are, you're a distributor, you're a diamond, or whatever, you need to have your chart filled out. And you need to be looking at your chart every single day to the point of you like dream about it and you know exactly where the names are. If you don't, then you need to get serious, because like, you can't say that you're serious and not have your chart printed out. You just can't. I'm sorry, you can't. So like, with being self-disciplined, you need to be consistent and just really get organized. So one thing that I did in March that's really helped for me is I got this binder. So I always had my chart, but they kept getting ripped and messed up. I've got a toddler. But this is the one that I got first, and it completely broke and fell apart because of my toddler. So I got a new one last night. But this has been a game changer for me. In this, I have my dream board, my charts, my 6 list, and my I've got lists where I have potential customers, and those can be found in the Freedom Legacy files. And that has been really, really helpful for me. I think that that made me feel less overwhelmed, more in control, more focused, and more able to take on my day. Because I'll show you in here, because this other one is not, I have to transfer them because I got it in South Africa when we were there in March, and they do 2 hole punch instead of 3. So this is a list of potential DTs that I have. So I feel more confident when I wake up knowing here's all the people that I have spoken to. Just for the record, I have, I think, 7 pages of this. But anyways, here's all the people that I've spoken to, and I know exactly what's going on with them because I wrote down what days I spoke to them. So in these boxes here, I've written down what days. And I think that getting organized helps me keep myself accountable, because if I look in here and I see that I haven't followed up with Jamie since April, like that's an issue. And I can see it because I'm organized. So I think that like being self-disciplined and treating your business like a business is really important. And not everybody is as green as me. Most people aren't, and that's probably a good thing. But figure out what works for you and make it, make it happen. Sorry guys. Another thing that I want to say is you have to show up to go up. So we talk about that a lot in the business, and our leaders will talk about that too. I hear Alyssa and Claire and Brittany say it all the time. Basically what that means is if you're not showing up to Zooms, if you're not showing up to, corporate events, if you're not active on the team pages and on the team chats, then you need to get serious, because you need to be surrounded by a group of women who can support you and, lift you up and help you, like iron sharpens iron. And if you're not going to be able to do it on your own. That's just how it works. And another thing that I think too is one of my first thoughts whenever I went diamond was, and I promise this sounds like a really terrible thing to say. It sounds like I was really egotistical, but it really wasn't from a place like that. But I remember thinking, well, I already know what I'm doing. I don't need to get on the Zoom because I already know what I'm doing. And I mean, there's nothing really that I'm going to learn that's new, because I had already done a Zoom myself. So I'm thinking, if I can lead a Zoom, then what am I going to learn from a Zoom? I'm sorry, but like there's always something to learn. Even if it's one tip that you glean from a Zoom or a training, you can go through the top leaders' YouTube pages and just watch their old trainings. I mean, some of it might not be applicable, but even if you get one thing that sticks with you and sticks in your head, there's always something to learn. And there's always room for improvement in your business and yourself as a person. So I think that just keeping that attitude and that mindset of always like looking higher is really important. So another thing that I want to talk about with self-discipline is making sure that we stay consistent in our business. Brittany says posting 6 times a day. I usually shoot for between 3 to 6. So 3 minimum, 6 is my perfect day. And I think that that's really important, because everyone has heard that thing where it takes 7 to 10 times of seeing or hearing something to act on it. That's why we hear the same things over and over on the radio, and then they're on billboards, and then there's ads for them in magazines, because it takes 7 to 10 times of your brain seeing something to act on it. And that's the same thing for our posts as well. Like somebody texted me today and said she's already posted about this, and this product and didn't have much interest. She didn't say she was doubting it, but something like, you could tell she's starting to like doubt it, or, wonder, is it going to work? Well, first of all, you've been in the business for less than a week. So you have to think about that too, because people aren't on your Facebook. So it's not like every single one of your friends has seen all of your posts that you've made. But then the other thing too is, how many times did you guys see our posts from your enroller before you even reached out to them, or before you even decided to join? Probably about 7 to 10. And that's why it's so important to stay consistent and keep planting those seeds, even though you might not see the fruits of that labor and you might not have the harvest yet. It's really important, because that consistency is what ensures our success in the business. And it's exactly like you would do for advertising. Like, think if you work for the Coca-Cola company. They're not going to put up one billboard and think that everyone in America is going to drive by it and it's okay, now we don't have to advertise anymore. No, they have billboards up in every single state. They have, different commercials on the radio, commercials on TV. They put stuff in magazines. They sponsor things. So we can't do that. Think about it like a business. We have to stay consistent, and we have to continually be advertising our business. And one other thing that I want to say is on the lines of not so much with product, but more with the business opportunity. If you're inconsistent, you end up confusing your network. You end up confusing your potentials. They don't know if you're serious, and they might move on to a different opportunity, even though maybe this is the team that God had for them, and this is the team, you know, that they're going to be successful on. And that's why it's so important to us. Like, we are responsible to be consistent, because if we are not, then we are going to lose those people. And it could have been someone that really needed this business in their life and could really use extra money. And because of our inconsistency, they just don't take it seriously anymore. So I really want to challenge you guys to, you know, just strive for that consistency and take that level of responsibility. And something that I want to say about product posting and consistency in product posting, I have realized over the past probably year, when I started using more products, or like pretty much every single one of our products, except for that like Estro Rhythm and ProFit Shake or whatever, the more that you incorporate products into your lifestyle, first of all, the healthier you're going to be. But second of all, the more that you incorporate them into your lifestyle, the easier it is to post about them consistently, because you're consistently using the products. You're a product of the product. So it's not difficult to sell because you feel passionately about it. You've had personal results, but it's also much easier than me having to think, okay, I need to make a post about shake. Let me think, where can I find a picture? No, I'm at the gym. My hair looked like ratchet, so like I didn't put my face in the picture, but I held up my shake bottle and took a picture of the gym with my shake bottle because I had it with me, because I was drinking it, because I was hungry and I didn't feel like, you know, eating junk before my workout. So I really challenge you guys to take your auto shipments seriously. And I know that that can be a huge commitment for your family financially, and it definitely was for us whenever we started. We had just had the baby, and it was just a really rough time for us. We were like in a lot of medical bills, like tons of medical debt. But it's something that I think is really important, and I think that it's extremely beneficial for your business, for you to be able to have product on hand that your family uses and incorporates into their lifestyle. I promise you it will contribute to your success enormously. Let me just see if there's something about. Okay, so the other thing that I want to talk about is, for self-discipline, is accountability. We have accountability groups that our leadership has been doing the last couple of months, and I strongly recommend that for anyone who is looking to get serious. But one thing that I want to say is, with consistency and self-discipline, you are accountable to someone. You are accountable to your leaders. You are accountable to the team underneath you. So it's not just you. People are depending on you. And it's one of those things where, again, life gets in the way, and like you can make excuses, and it could be a fantastic excuse. I wish I could think of another word other than excuse, but like, there's reasons that get in the way, or like obstacles and challenges, but there will only ever be as many obstacles in front of you as you decide you can't get over. So let's say there's 15 hurdles in front of me. There's 15 obstacles in front of me, but if I have decided that I can get over every single one of them, I'm going to be at the end. I'm going to be at the finish line. I'm going to be over the obstacles, and those aren't my obstacles anymore. So just decide at the beginning of your day what you're going to achieve, and don't give yourself an easy out. You know, don't cop out. Hold yourself accountable, and hold yourself personally responsible for the success of your business, because in the end, it is only you that is responsible, and it is only you that gets to decide what your paycheck is going to be. I wish I had a picture of the income earnings. I wish I had one. Anyway, so there's this chart. Maybe Brittany can put it in. I don't know if we can put it in the comments. There's this chart that our company produces every year. It shows the average income of every rank. So the average income of distributor level, the average income of executive, ruby, emerald, diamond, double, blah, blah, blah. And honestly, I want you guys to like get one of those out and look at it and decide, what is my goal? Because there's no limit to your earning potential on this team. And I mean, hear me, it's this team in particular, like this successful team, like there is no limit to your earning potential. It is literally up to you. So And I mean, it might not happen overnight. It's not going to happen like tomorrow you say you want to make $4,000 a month. That's not practical, but you are the one who gets to decide. So like, look at that chart and decide which one of those, thank you so much, Jessica, decide which one of those that is your goal and stick to it. Because I promise you, if you are consistent and if you have set your mind to it and you don't quit, it might take a lot longer than you thought. It's going to take me 13 months longer than I thought it would to go double, even though I was super naive how fast I thought it was going to happen. But I mean, in the end of August, I'm going to be double. So it might have taken me a lot longer, and I might have thought every month and looked like foolish to people who think that, oh, she said she was going to do it and she can't do it. I would rather do that 13 times than the first time quit and say, you're right, I can't. Nonsense. Like, I can, and I'm going to, and after I do, I'm going to show you guys that I did it. Like, I refuse to give up because I know that I can do it. And like, I was talking to somebody earlier in the week. My husband's making fun of me because I'm going to run a marathon on October 20th, regardless of what he thinks. And somebody said, well, how do you know if that's long enough time for training? Because I haven't been running very much. And, you know, and I said, well, I already know that I can because I've decided that I'm going to. So I don't really see the confusion in it. Like, I've already decided that it's happening, so it's happening. And that's what I really challenge you guys to do with this business is decide what's going to be happening in your business and just keep that at the forefront of your mind. Decide what's going to happen. I will be double, and just go with it. And I think that's pretty much everything I have. I'm sorry for my soapbox ranting, but I really think that that's the biggest thing that you guys can take from me is just decide what you're going to do and just do it. Don't give up. Expect the challenges to come. Expect hard times to come. Expect setbacks. Oh, that's the other thing I wanted to talk about. So I went diamond, which means that, do I have a diamond chart? No. Okay, so I went diamond, which means that I had an emerald and a ruby leader, and then I had other 400 boxes, and those are huge ranks. Like, those are big leaders, the emerald and the ruby. I think it was 2 months after that, or maybe the month after, my emerald, who was going to be my diamond for my double chart, and my ruby, who was already an emerald basically for my double diamond chart, both of them flat out quit. Like, and when I say quit, I don't mean like they called and like canceled their card or like whatever. They just stopped working. They gave up. Like, in our business, that's what usually happens. You don't actually quit. Like, okay, I quit. It's just, and it's usually a slow process. It's usually like you start doubting, and then you don't prioritize it. And then when you don't prioritize things, it's very easy to forget it. But with both of them, it wasn't a slow thing. It was like they just both up and quit. Like, they're like, no, we're done for various reasons and whatever. And honestly, like, it would have been so easy for me to be like, I cannot rebuild this. I can't build a whole new diamond and a whole new emerald. Like, that's crazy. But I didn't give up, and it took a lot longer than I thought. But now on my double chart that I have, I'm going to show y'all. So this entire chart, so everything over here, every single thing under this blue, and every single thing right here was not there after I went diamond. These two people quit. Every single box on my entire chart now is full except for one. I can remember the first day that I went over to Brittany's house and looked at her double chart and was totally overwhelmed and like, holy cow, I could never do that. Like, I couldn't, and I mean, and it's almost like this little demon in the back of your head that's like whispering, you can't do that. You can't do that. It's like, it's not like I stand up and say, oh, I can't do that, because I want to believe, oh, it was your triple chart. Well, no, it was both of them. Your triple chart was up on the wall, but your double chart is what you had down. And like, I remember both of them being like, holy cow. But it's just one of those things where you might be doubting, and you might see this as a huge mountain, but it's up to you to decide if it's a mountain you're going to climb, or is it a mountain that you're going to walk up a couple steps and turn around and come back down. Because you're the one who's in charge of that, and you're the one who gets to make that decision. So all of you guys who are on here who are new, we are here for you. We are here to encourage you. We are here to support you in absolutely any way that you need. We just ask you to take responsibility for your own, your business, and just get to work and let us help you, because we are super excited. And we are so excited with all the new team enrollments that's on our team, because we know what you guys are capable of. And we know how many rock stars we have on this team. We know how much you can earn, and what is waiting for you. So just don't give up and just get to work, because we are here to help you. Okay, that's all I have. Sorry, I'll get off my soapbox.
No, I love it so much. I hope that everyone on here on this Zoom took away that nothing is impossible with this business, you guys. When I first started, I heard someone say the only difference between an ambassador diamond and someone else is the ambassador diamond was literally just a distributor, like every single one of you, who never quit, who just kept going despite what obstacles came their way. And I want you to know that, guys, there are so many bonuses on the line right now. There are so many lives that are going to be changed the second half of 2018. And I know our team collectively is going to be bringing in at least $100,000 in bonuses. I know just Jordan and Amanda alone are going to be bringing in what is it, guys? 17.5? 17.5 or 16.5? 17. Okay, I can't hear you, you're muted, but I think it's 17.5. But anyways, there's going to be literally, guys, over $100,000 of bonuses brought in. All of you that are new are immediately eligible for that $1,000 Ruby bonus and that $5,000 Emerald bonus. And they just keep getting bigger from there. Guys, I personally have earned over $130,000 in bonuses. So if you're hearing us throw these numbers around and you're like, yeah, no one earns those, that's not possible, you're wrong. You're absolutely wrong. Everyone that you heard speak on this Zoom tonight has earned bonuses in amounts of 5,000 or higher. Everyone on this that you've heard speaking is going to be earning even more, and every single one of you can earn all that and more. The sky is the limit with this company. So I hope that you take these tips you learned tonight, took some notes, and are just, fired up, ready to get some work done tonight and wake up tomorrow morning with this clear vision of where you're going. Because I want you to know you don't have to have it all figured out. You just have to decide that, I'm in this for the long haul, and I'm going to keep dreaming bigger and bigger. I'm not going to ramble too long because I know it's getting late and we have the family call in 45 minutes, but I just want to end on one thing. When I got started, you guys, I knew I wanted to retire my husband. And I know a lot of you guys maybe don't have that big of a goal right away. I knew I wanted to retire him. He hated his job. He was coming home miserable. And I knew if Claire could do it, I could do it. But guys, I didn't have big dreams of moving to the beach, moving to South Florida, all these things. I didn't know how many bonuses I would earn with this company. I just was like, okay, I'll just work hard and do whatever I got to do to bring my husband home. But guys, what happened, after I brought my husband home, and we became a full-time family, we looked at each other and we were like, okay, if this is possible, what else is possible? And that's what this company does for you. It forces you to look at each other and really dream big and really accept that you've been playing small your whole life. And I want you to know there's nothing more empowering than making that decision to reject the status quo and decide you don't care what anybody thinks, you're running to the top and you're taking as many people along with you as want to come along for the ride. So I just want to say, we all love you guys so much. If you're on here, I don't care if you're one day old in the business, we love you and we're here for you. We are truly one big family. I have never met as many just positive, uplifting people as I have in this business. So if you're brand new, you're in for just quite a ride, because I'm telling you, you won't meet people like that are in this business and on this specific team, like Amanda said. So reach out to us. We're here for you to help you be successful. And yeah, just if there's questions you have or anything that you feel like you're stuck on, don't sit back in silence trying to figure it all out. Reach out. We're here for you. Let us help you and get going. Don't delay. Just get going. That's the only way to be great, is to start. So anyways, I'm going to stop rambling and let you guys get off. The family call is at 10 o'clock. There may or may not be a huge announcement tonight, so get on it. It'll be live on Mark's Facebook page, Mark Pentecost. He is our CEO. I'm going to put it in the chat. And then Zach, my husband, always shares it in Fire Tribe as well too. So you can see it there. Yes, Mandy's right, 9 p.m. Central. So 45 minutes from now, 10 p.m. Eastern. And then I feel like there's something else I'm forgetting, but I don't know. Yeah, get on the live, and anything else I forget, I'll say in Fire Tribe. But anyways, I hope everyone has such a good night. Let us know anything that you need. I will upload this recording ASAP in the thread that you guys saw this Zoom posted in. So if you had teams that were working or couldn't get on, make sure you send them the recording. Have a good night, you guys.